Welcome, everybody, to our next episode of Connect Elder to Elder Conversations. And in this episode, we speak of equipping the existing elders.
Hey everyone, welcome to the E2 Effective Elders podcast. Visit us at e2elders.org and please share this good word with others.
Hey everybody, welcome to our next episode of Connect Elder to Elder Conversations. And it's our privilege today to welcome Larry Groves to the platform. And Larry and I, our paths crossed some time ago at the Indian Creek Christian Church in Indianapolis. Larry, welcome to Elder.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Have you been busy there in First Christian Church, Newburgh?
Oh, quite busy. The elder group is going through something of a transformation. Over the last few years, the makeup of the elder team has changed and its heart also changed. This group is less concerned about organizational success and more concerned about the spiritual health of the parishioners and more concerned about reaching out and connecting to our community. So we recognized this new nature of the group, and I think the parishioners also recognized a different sense, a different heart in the team. We had some idea of the challenges that lay before us and some idea of but we didn't know what to do with ourselves. So discovering the E2 training has been very effective for us to be able to tighten the expectations of the roles that we should play and to draw the group together closer as we went through the training.
Yeah. Well, just before we get into what is going on currently in and among all of you as a band of brothers, let's help our people get to understand your story, to get connected with you a little bit. So those who are watching and or listening, Larry is an elder at First Christian Church in Newburgh, Indiana, down in the southern part of the state. Larry, what line of work are you in currently? What do you do to put food on the table and keep a roof over your head?
Well, I am attempting to learn how to be retired, and I am failing miserably. My nose is broken, and so I'm involved in all sorts of things. My company has hired me back part-time. I've been invited to be an elder at First Christian after we moved here in 2015. I'm the program manager for our community outreach group. That's how I'm occupying myself these days.
Yeah. So when I was the lead minister at the Creek in Indianapolis, that's where you and your wife attended for a number of years.
Yes.
Our paths crossed. And when you went then to Newburgh, you reached back to the Creek and invited me to come and do some presentation work there at First Church. And so that's kind of how E2 got infiltrated into some of the thinking process there. And now, we have said many a time that there are 6 challenges that are facing elders today all across the country and around the world. Doesn't matter where we are, ELDERS. So from evangelism to leadership, and then the D is discipleship. But here comes this next E, and it's the equipping of the existing elder team. And that R is recruiting new elders, and S, the internal structure there in the local church. There's some very exciting work taking place at First Christian Church as to how you are equipping the existing elder team. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? I know that you made a significant investment in our elder toolbox training curriculum.
I do want to talk about that, but I want to tell an anecdote first about the connection that you made to our congregation here in Newburgh. I had signed up for the emails from the E2 mailings, the weekly mailings, and one of them said, if you want some help with your elder board, click here. Well, I figured that I was going to get someone sending me a link to some resources, which I thought was probably going to be helpful.
Mhm.
But instead, no, the reply is a phone call from Gary Johnson. So this escalated rather rapidly to a personal connection.
Mhm.
And we discovered more about the opportunities for the E2 training from that. Gary came down to visit. So we actually joined the E2 on behalf of our congregation in the fall of 2019.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes.
So um, uh, the elders have been attempting to make good use of the material. In 13 months, we've covered 7 of the lessons.
Mhm.
Um, so it's a regular agenda topic at each of our monthly meetings.
Mhm.
Sometimes we're able to finish the entire lesson. Sometimes we have to conduct a subsequent meeting to finish it up. Um, but it's been helpful in a couple of different ways. Well, the obvious thing is that, of course, we're picking up some increased knowledge about the role of an elder, and for all of the lengthy descriptions of that, we distilled it down to 3 areas. There's a component to managing the organization,
Mhm.
a component to managing personal relationships in the congregation one-on-one, and the third component is managing ourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
So as we read through the literature, the roles, they all expand, but we've distilled it down to those 3 areas. Um, More helpful, probably even than the knowledge, has been the cohesion that's developed in the team as we've done that. Because as we discuss these things, the lessons, the challenges from the E2 training, it's much more personal
Mhm.
than talking about church business that would otherwise be on the agenda.
Mhm.
So I think we've grown um, as a team
Mhm.
noticeably through the course of going through these sessions together. Now, our rhythm is that we make assignments a few days in advance of the meeting, so everyone is expected to do their own reading. They view the videos themselves. So when we meet together, people are ready to discuss.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we dig right into the questions and struggle with what that means, and then what that means for us, what the implications are for our own behavior and decisions.
So
So
Larry, go ahead. I'm sorry. Mhm.
we've hit a couple of milestones in the last couple of months. One is that we did decide that we should do a strategic plan this
Mhm.
year. So we have some actions in place to see that will happen this year. The other is that we conducted our first peer review
Mhm.
that we now expect to be part of our annual rhythm.
Mhm. Okay. So you mentioned you've been on this journey now for 13 months. So basically a whole year. Would you say that your elder team looks, thinks, acts differently 13 months later than when you began the journey? Have you become more thoroughly equipped as elders?
We have,
Okay.
we have.
And that's a pretty high value that you're investing. This is a front burner item for you passionately, correct?
It is.
Mhm.
We're more equipped in 2 ways. One is that we have a better sense of what we should be addressing as a
Mhm.
group. The other is that we're more equipped as a group because we've developed some cohesion
Mhm.
going through this challenging personal process.
Mhm. Good. Well, you sent me an email last week that really immediately caught my attention. And that was when you said you did peer reviews for the very first time. And, again, you got to be very passionate about equipping your existing team if you're going to hold each other's feet to the fire. Can you talk about that a little bit? What was that like emotionally, spiritually, so on? Tell us about peer review.
Well, I can tell you that when we were finished, we survived to the great relief and quite a bit of surprise on behalf of all of us.
Uh-huh.
We dreaded this thing for months in approach. I mean, in the middle of last year, we recognized that peer reviews should be something that we ought to do. Well, that was pretty easy to say, but then when it came time to actually putting it on the schedule, deciding what our approach was going to be, recognizing that we actually expected each other to fill out a self-evaluation of the questions that are in 15 questions that are in answering his call.
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden, the fear, the meter on the fear moved way up. We recognized how vulnerable we were going to make ourselves. None of us were looking forward to it. There were even some quips about what sort of an exam this was going to be. But out of sheer faith
Uh-huh.
that we would be better for the experience and that our team would be healthier, we all showed up on Saturday morning and we all had our self-evaluation that we had typed into the template. And we all took turns standing, reading through our self-evaluation and
Wow.
hearing reaction from the other elders. Most of the time it was affirming. Occasionally it was challenging. No, we didn't really go off into the ditch at any point. We didn't have any relationship tangles that snared us. It took about a half an hour per person to go through that. So, at the end, we all breathed a huge sigh of relief that there wasn't much blood on the floor when we left, and that everybody felt confident that we probably now had this ensconced in what would be our annual rhythm.
All right. So there's the next obvious question. Do you think you'll do it again?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And did each of you, as an elder, sense what your individual next steps are to become a more effective elder in 2021?
Yes, I think so. The discussion, as I said, some was affirming in many regards and challenging in others. And either way, it told us what we needed to focus on in this coming year for us to be more effective. One of the curious things and really strong things that came out was the different gifts that we all brought to the elder team. So there was a celebration of those strengths and a challenge about how some of those could be used better. But there was no expectation that we all needed to be cookie cutter people that all brought the same kind of things to the team. So we probably all recognized those different gifts, but in the course of this evaluation, that was articulated and appreciated, and the complementary nature of those things became quite evident.
Yeah. Well, First Christian Church Newburgh is making a significant investment. Not only was there a financial investment in buying the elder toolbox, all of those resources, but you are making an investment of time, individually to read, individually to watch training videos, but also you're taking the investment of time in your meetings to deliberately sharpen the sword of your leadership skills.
Yes.
Now, I regretfully would say I can remember one church saying, boy, we desperately need this training for our elders, but we need new carpet. And that was a literal statement that one of the elders made to me. And I said, all right, now just stop and think. New carpet that you're going to replace in 10 to 12 years, or elders who become trained and equipped to lead at the next level, who can impact the eternity of people in a profound way. I find it difficult to believe that there are still people who think in that small regard. So, Larry, has it been worth the investment, time, money, treasure, etc., for First Christian Church Newburgh, Indiana, to make this investment in the equipping of your existing elder team?
Yes, and the financial part was the small investment,
Mm-hmm.
and the big investment was the time that we take at each of the meetings, the personal time that's spent, the emotional energy to examine ourselves and our church closely. So, yes, the investment was certainly worth it, but the financial piece was certainly the small part of that investment.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, so I would assume a word of encouragement or challenge to other elders who are listening into this conversation, elder to elder conversation. What good word would you have for them in closing?
You must take this role seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you are expected to be the leader of your congregation.
Mm-hmm.
You are expected to develop an effective team to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Your congregation won't become any better at mission. They won't develop spiritually. They won't be recognized in the community as a beacon of hope and help
Mm-hmm.
unless your elder team is equipped and has an appetite to lead that congregation into that kind of a future.
Yeah, absolutely. What a good word on which to end. Well, I look forward, the good Lord willing, to being back down in your part of the state again.
Or we would
Uh,
welcome that.
However, we can be there to be of help. I'm grateful that on that Friday you clicked on contact us. That has been such a blessing. And I hope that other people will do just as Larry Groves did and hit contact us. So, Larry, please tell the brothers that we send our best. You are a poster child of E2 for what you're doing. So we're
Well,
going to tell your
that's
story to
flattering.
many people. Yeah. All right. Well, blessings to you, brother.
My pleasure.
Mhm.
Thank you, Gary.
Bye-bye.